Yeah. Oh, damn. That's a hell of a way to start the stream right there. Nina, thank you so much. 16 months in a row. My God. Hey, yo, what's good? Everybody was cracking. What's happening? It's your boy, the Show Blue 8. We're back again today. Another stream. I tried getting on early. I promise I tried. I swear I tried. It's just the time difference in like getting up and having to do so many things plus trying to put the stream together, and there was stuff that I'm planning on getting into, but I thought to myself, I was like, what would be something that a lot of people would want to know about, hear about, talk about, whatever. And of course, later on I'm gonna have to edit that portion of the video, and so we are going to get into I'm gonna have to edit it and put it out on YouTube as well, because there's going to be, even though I'm going to talk about it now, there's going to be stuff that you'll be able to see, and maybe some added stuff on there, so that way you'll get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. And what that's going to be is how to plan a trip if you're either visiting or planning to move to Japan. Like, I'm going to get in that today. But, everybody that's here, what's cracking, what's happening. I see Deadlock, you got first today. Was good. How you doing it? Man, it's good to see you on. I know you were going through some things with Discord not getting notified and everything else. And then I saw Gone Get It, bruh. Yeah, Gone Get It, bruh's on. And then, of course, we got Nina here. We got a couple other people over on YouTube. And everybody that's on, if you're on YouTube, go ahead, like the video. Most definitely subscribe. Feel free to hop in the chat. And if you're on Twitch, give a follow, subscribe, hop in the chat as well. And if you're watching this later, do all that stuff too. But let me know if I need to adjust any of my volumes or anything like that. So how has everybody been? I know you guys are on a slight delay, and I hope the stream isn't like messing up too bad. I see that I'm kind of dropping frames or something, but it's not that bad right now. It's raining here again. So yesterday, got a break from the rain. Got a break. I didn't even get to go out and enjoy, the time yesterday because, well, of different factors that we talked about before. But more than anything, it was just one of those things. I had to spend the entire day finishing projects for classes, stuff like that, and then planning around what's going to be happening next month, because next month I'm going to be moving from where I'm at to a new mansion. So, and when I say that, that's the first thing that you guys need to understand. Here, if you hear somebody say, have you found a mansion? Have you moved into a new mansion? Or I'm moving into a new mansion. They're talking about an apartment, all right? They're not talking about a mansion in the sense of the terms that you're talking about. It's not bad. The vid and sound are coming through well on my end. All right, cool. That's good. Good to know. So, but yeah, they're not talking about a mansion in the sense of what you're probably thinking. No, that's what everybody calls apartments. And it's funny, like the way that apartments are sized here now versus the way that they used to be and everything. But I'll get into that later on. Otherwise, like, I did want to do some gaming, but that's not going to happen today. I can say that right out the gate, just because of the fact that I can tell that would probably screw up things. Plus, you guys know, I already told you, I switched this system, and I cannot stand this laptop. It's so irritating, but I have to deal with it at least until I move into the new place and everything else. Plus, once I get paid from both places, then it'll be a thing where I'll have the money, which I had before, until I made the stupid ass mistake that I made while being out on a national holiday here. But yeah, I have to move because, first off, I'm moving into a much bigger place, and then secondly, I might have to leave Tokyo. Now, my thing was, I wanted to stay in Tokyo, specifically Asakusa, where I'm at. It's a little bit more expensive, but I kind of explained, the cost of living as far as like your place and everything else here. But the school that I'm going to be working with, they want me to move more than likely Good morning. Well, good night to y'all soon. I know it's so crazy. Before I get sidetracked, but essentially the school that I'm working with, they want me to move about an hour to an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours outside of where I'm at right now, which it's not really that big of a deal because technically I could still live here and just commute to and from work because my time is going to be somewhere around well, I mean it's been lately like 11 o'clock noon, something like that. And then when I get off, I don't give a damn about being off late. Yeah, an hour is nothing. An hour is nothing. With like 2 hours and stuff like that, if I have to start doing 8 o'clock in the morning, that's when it's like oh man. So that would mean I'd have to be up at like 6 o'clock, hopping on the train. The trains, and here's what's crazy. Here in Asakusa, it's like every 2 to 3 minutes a train is coming to run to wherever, and you just have to plan that trip out. And pretty much here, I can go damn near anywhere I need to. If I have any kind of stops or whatever, they're not that big of a thing. I mean, everything is pretty precise here when it comes to the way that public transportation works. But like I said, if it's like an hour away, I'm staying in Asakusa. But the added benefit to me actually leaving from Asakusa is that my monthly costs drop even more so. So here, the place that they found like I said last time, somewhere around like 80,000 yen a month. Now on the high end, you'd be looking at 120,000 to 180,000 a month, which when you translate that to US dollars, not that big of a thing. Still, you don't want to be spending that, especially on like depending on the type of job that you're doing. But if I move out to where they're talking about, so all right, so what I say, 80,000 yen is somewhere around, and I put this on the high end. All right, I mean just in case of any change at all, as far as the translation plus adding in like additional costs, it's like $600 a month. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Now, understand that people make what most would consider less money here than you would in the States, but the catch to it is it doesn't matter because you are still exactly, bruh. It's no joke. You're still able to pay everything you need to get out and do things and so on and so forth. Now, think about this. No. I know you said, oh, no. All right, here's the thing. So, even for a teacher, 200 and what? On the low end, I think it was 150 to 180, and then upwards of 230,000 yen a month. There are schools that actually pay even more than that. Now, think about this. If all you have to pay on a monthly basis is 80,000 yen per month, or you live a little bit farther out, and then you're down to like 50,000 a month, and you make 200 to 230,000 a month, come on now. Come on. Like you're good. You are good because that cost includes your rental insurance. It includes your water, your electricity, all of that stuff is included. It includes your security system. You also usually get in most of those places a monthly cleaning service that comes and takes care of stuff for you. Now, the crazier thing is the money that it costs, like to move into places. Some places require, like, of course, the first and last month, and then they require something called like key money as well. Not all places require that. Not all of them do. So, I mean, you just have to look and kind of, check different things out. But what's even better is sometimes, and in my case, too, the company will take care of a certain amount of your living expenses, either for the entire contract term or for a certain portion of the contract term. Bigger companies and stuff like that, they give their employees, certain living expenses. It's or they'll also cover your travel expenses, or up to like 50,000 yen per month on travel expenses. So I mean, you're very much so taken care of. Now, here's the even better part: if you're making money from the states too, come on now, you got nothing to worry about, because for every yen, so every dollar to a yen, you're getting somewhere between the range of 144 to 150 on it. So one American dollar is like 144 yen, or upwards of 150 and some change. Like, imagine it. If you're getting paid anything from this, I don't care if you get paid just, I don't know, you're doing a job that's remote or something like that, and you're only getting paid $1,500 to $2,000 a month from the states. You could live here off of that easily, especially if you're only paying 50,000 in yen for your living expenses, because then that 80,000, which is like 500 American, drops down drastically. So if you're paying about 120,000 yen a month, you're paying upwards of a grand. That's pretty much the translation. No, no, no. Good night, good gaming night with PSVR 2. Oh, you got the PSVR 2. Let's see. Wait a minute. After the fall, Saber, Ancient Dungeon. You know what? Nina, actually, we were talking about this earlier, and I think it was Razor who said something about it last time too. But that Hell Divers game, look, if I had the cash to do it right now, I would do it. But then that's also the beauty of it, because of like the whole issue with gaming and my laptop and everything else. I told you guys about the esports cafe that I found. That is fantastic. I have to go over there and set up my OBS and everything on my account there, so that way I can actually go and run a stream from there. We can actually do some gaming or whatever. But anyway, back to what I was saying though. I mean, the cost of living, it's not that bad. And I mean, as far as like eating and everything else, we'll get into that in a couple of minutes too, because that kind of goes under the whole cover, what I want to talk about as far as if you're planning a trip or planning on moving out here. I just want the car company I work for to send me there. Hell, I'd live there if they let me work from the. Yo, listen, no joke. I mean, I've actually gone past a couple of, not the dealerships, but then also one of, I believe it was one of their factories here. I know I won't say the car company, but yeah, I know that they have it here, and I would try. It's godly awesome. Yeah, I want to get that game, but yeah, the money situation. Fucking, I'm still dying over that. You guys have no idea how much money I lost that day. It was bad. It was very bad. You have to think about, this is all I need you to think about. I had everything on me to open a brand new bank account here in Japan. That's how much money I had on me. And the thing was, I had to do it that way. I had to have it in cash because of the fact that my bank, I couldn't fucking use the card and transfer anything just because of it being a corporate account. So yeah, kind of sucks. But anyway, yeah, I do want to play that game, and I actually looked at some of the gameplay earlier. And speaking about that, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about a couple of days ago. So if you guys don't know, Microsoft's come up with that whole plan of giving all these first-party games to, Sony and Nintendo, essentially trying to put their products out there everywhere, which I was like, there's a good point and a bad point to it. But, after what you had said earlier, Nina, in fact, I looked at it, there was an article about it, Helldivers 2, even like Sony fanboys, which I'm sorry, I hate saying this, but it's the truth. Sony fanboys are the worst. They're like the vegans of the gaming community. All right, I can't. Like, I've always loved Sony products. I've loved their consoles ever since I was young. Grew up having all of them. When the first PlayStation came out, it changed everything for gaming. Hell, it changed shit for house parties, all right? Everybody knew all you had to do was have a PlayStation, a TV, and a good sound system, pop a CD in there, turn on some DMX, and as long as you got alcohol, you got a party cracking. Like, look, their systems have always been great. They have great games, stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, the reason why I ended up going the Xbox path was because of the online play. Not just that, but the consoles ended up being better. The Xbox consoles ended up being better. More games, a lot more first party games. But now Xbox is gone and they're trying to put their stuff out there everywhere. But the Sony fan base, what got me like, wow, is that even there, like, they started a petition to get Helldivers 2 onto Xbox because they're like, it's such a great game and they would love to be able to have more people playing that game together. So, I mean, I know it's on PC. I know you can get it on Steam, and I know it's on PlayStation, but those are the only real places that it is right now. Everyone wants it to come to Xbox to get the Xbox base going. But one of the bigger things is, I mean, it's kind of, it's almost a non-starter at this point because from what I understand, even the devs of, Helldivers was like, I saw it on X one day, Twitter, the app formerly known as Twitter. They were talking about how the servers were so overloaded. It's not a fan base, it's a legion. We are a legion. All right. I like that. But they were talking about how overloaded the servers were and people were having issues with even getting on the game. So, I mean, really, until that issue is like fully resolved, which, I haven't heard anything about it for the last few days. Everything seemed to be running a little bit better. But until that issue is really resolved, how can they really put last Sunday? I went, what the? Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Listen. What? Even in a queue system for the best food in the world, I don't think I could wait 5 hours. Like, ain't no way. I couldn't be at a fucking theme park and wait 5 hours to get on a ride. To wait to get into a game 5 hours, that's crazy. There was over 400,000 people on Steam. Wow. I mean, the game looks good. To me, it looks like it would be so much fun to play. And the stuff that I was seeing, I mean, it's super co-op based. So I like that. I like that idea. More and more games need to start doing that. No, Ninakai, it's not a legion. It's a democracy. Remember, we are citizens of Super Earth. Yeah, like, okay, that's it. I see where this is going. Wow. Y'all are wild today. The soldiers needed help. Yo, that's like, nah, I really, really do want to play that game. It looks interesting. It's like a cross between, I don't know. Well, because of some of the stuff they were talking about in the carrier plane that I saw dropping stuff down, I'm like, did they steal this shit from Halo? But then it also reminded me of, what was that movie with the big bugs oh my god. Like the military was fighting like humongous bugs on, was it Earth or like another planet? Everybody knows that movie. Everyone knows what movie I'm talking about too. They call upon old school gamers and we answered their call. Yeah, I really do need to play that. I really do. It looks super interesting, but I like that, it's kind of bringing gamers together. Because one of the biggest things that always gets on my nerve is when I see people sitting there, like, number one, not just trashing games, but, I mean, if it's a bad game, it's a bad fucking game. But trashing the games that people play, trashing, certain things that are supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be entertainment. So to see this game kind of putting it, like crossing the whole line. It sounds so weird saying this. It sounds like a political fucking thing, like crossing the lines and reaching out to everyone on the other side. Give you a heads up. They're doing a release of the old school Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 with servers online again. You know what? I'd never really gotten to the Battlefront games. My Star Wars games, like the ones that I love, was KOTOR, KOTR. Yo, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, I can play that game over. And I mean, if I started that up right now, I'd do a full fucking playthrough on that. I love that game. Absolutely love it. But it's really cool to see how, Helldivers is kind of bringing the community together and actually allowing people. It doesn't sound like it's that toxic either. It does not sound like, I haven't heard too much toxicity as far as like people being in game together and playing together. It's like people actually want to work together to complete missions or get through the campaigns that they're doing. I did see like one and this is always, you're always going to have this, the outliers and everything else. The girl was like, what'd she say? Downloaded Helldivers 2, played it once and turned it off. It just wasn't that great. You don't have to like it. That's fine. Take the dark side path, memories, awaken as Darth Revan. No, you know what? That game, it was crazy. It was crazy because every time I would make the decision, I always ended up super high on the light side. And one of my best friends, I'll never forget, Scott, no matter how many times he tried to get light side, he was always super deep on the Sith side. Like those games, the stories were just fantastic. But anyway, but yeah, like she kind of like bashed like it's not that great. Everybody's just hyping it. Like, listen, you don't have to like it. That's fine. Send a TikTok about it. All right, I'll check it out. But I'm like, you don't have to like it. But it's one of those situations where it's like, don't go trying to dissuade people from actually trying something out that they themselves might actually enjoy. And that's always the thing. Like we take so much, stuff and like, build all this hype around it, so on and so forth. But if one or two people, especially if they have any kind of influence, says something bad about it, then everybody's kind of like, oh, I'm not even going to try it. And you end up missing out on some excellent games. I'll never forget, I don't know if you guys remember this game, Parappa the Rapper. Going back to the first PlayStation game, it was one of the first like beat-based games. There was that, and then there was what was the Space Channel 5, which came out I think during like PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 2 era, stuff like that. But Parappa the Rapper, everybody like tried bashing that game. It's so stupid. And then you played it, and you go through the whole playthrough. It was so much fun. It wasn't just that it was fun, but the raps, even though like kind of simplistic, some of them somewhat corny, it still entertained the hell out of you. And the storyline that actually played out in the game ended up being great. The only flaw was their servers, and literally everyone in the DC was super chill and having fun with each other. In the Discord. Okay, I'm thinking. I thought you were talking about one of the old DC games that released. The funny thing about Helldivers 2 is the fact that you're not cleansing and planning, not securing and planning. You're committing mass genocide, plus the servers are like, yo. Okay, listen. I don't condone mass genocide. Look, someone tried that before. All right. Nah, but I get it. No, the gameplay. Okay, you know what? Let's see. I'm gonna try and pull up that. I'm talking about Hell. Yeah, no. I figured it out. I figured out what you were talking about, Nina. Let me see. I'm gonna try and pull that Discord. Oh, I can't. The way I had Opera set up, where I could just immediately go into Discord on there. I don't know why. I think they took the Discord app off of Opera now. So I can't even pull it. I have to actually go into Discord, log into it, etc., etc., etc. Let's see. Yeah. No, I not a mess with it. I'll check out the video later on. But It's still there. It's underneath. What? The Discord is? Shit. My Opera, let's see, apps. You guys can't see it, but let's see. Aria, Chat GPT, what the fuck? Messengers, Messengers, WhatsApp, Telegram, yeah, mine goes Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram, VK, Instagram, TikTok, X, and then show less. And I even tried adding it in. I forget. I went through. They have a site that tells you all the different or additional apps you can add and stuff like that to your sidebar. Discord was not there. Discord absolutely was not there. So I'm like, that did annoy the hell out of me. I don't know why that was the case on whatever update they did. And what really irritates the hell out of me was the fact that had I not had to switch up to this system, it would still be on my PC because I never allowed it to update and everything else. But yeah, so I don't know. I'll try and figure it out again to see if I can get, you know what? But I do. I'm looking at it right now for my messengers. It's EX Discord. No, mine doesn't show it. Mine doesn't show it. Mine does not show it. Let's see. Yeah, you know what? I'll screen share this son of a bitch with you too, just so you can see what I'm looking at. And it's so awkward. I can't state this enough. It is so awkward working on just one monitor during a stream. The weirdest shite in the world. All right, let's see. Okay, watch. So right here, this is what I got. Sidebar setup. This is all it shows. This is it. Messengers, and then when I drop down to show more, Discord's not there. Absolutely not. And I don't even know why these are on here because I fucking turned them off before. And it's like every time I load in or log in, it's crazy. Sometimes it's like my Discord gets or my what's the name of that? I just said the damn app name. Essentially, my browser gets reset almost every time. It's stupid. But anyway, all right. Let's see. Let me fix this again. So weird. All right, there we go. So, as I said earlier, what we're going to talk about right now is planning a trip to Japan or even planning a move here. All right. So, I went through this whole thing like in a different way because of everything that was set for me, so on and so forth. But if I had to give advice, and again, I will be editing this, like actually taking this portion and put it on YouTube. It will be. Oh, I forgot I did a complete customization of my Opera GX. Yeah, see, and I didn't take all that time to do all that. But I will be making like some edits to it. So if you watch it on YouTube, it's going to be a lot different than me just sitting here talking to you and everything else. So the first thing that I would say that you kind of want to do is probably get some of the basics down as far as the language goes. It's hard for a lot of people to, outright just be able to learn Japanese in any quick form or fashion. It's not an easy thing to do. If you grew up, speaking it, so on and so forth, that's one thing. But I can even say this. For me, speaking it as a child and growing up and speaking it, throughout different times, But then living away from it for so long, especially even in like some of the places I lived and having like Japanese friends and stuff like that, they didn't speak it. It's like you're away from it so long, it kind of deteriorates in your mind. What I will say, so before I even moved out here, I was at the bar that I would hang out at all the time, everything else. And the girl that I see from there, she's a Korean girl, and so I would teach her some Japanese and stuff like that. She'd also help me get better in Korean. And then the Japanese guy showed up one night, and we just got into a conversation, and it like kind of just flowed so easily for me at that point. I'm like, huh, I haven't lost it as bad as I actually thought. But moving back here, it's like I'm good. I'm perfectly fine. I have the conversational portion of it, even like portions of like in a business sense and everything else. But then I see so many people who are here who have none of the language down. I mean, maybe they'll get konnichiwa. Maybe they'll get that, but it's like since it's not something that they're used to doing, they still will typically almost go directly into English. So the first thing I would say is at least get some basics down. And the basics I would say that you need to get down is knowing how to say hello and when to use the proper hello. There's one for morning, there's one for afternoon, and there's one for evening. And you don't have to be super formal. It's one of those things where, especially if you're in Tokyo, you can get away with a lot of the informalities because of the fact that, I mean, people understand. More than likely, you're a foreigner. It is what it is. That's okay. Then beyond that is, I would say, food. Like, you need to understand how to order food, and you also need to understand how to count. The basic counting structure, at least up to 100, which 100 is hyaku. And if you want to say 200, it's ni hyaku. And if you want to say 200 yen, as in like, let's take that as dollars, ni hyaku yen. So that right there. And then, of course, going into thousands and 10,000, stuff like that. If you learn the primary base of it, you're okay. Not just that, but also when you shop a lot of places, especially if they know that you're a foreigner, they will actually write down how much something costs for you. So if you don't understand them saying it to you, or you'll of course also have, let's say in like supermarkets and stuff like that, there's a digital screen. But then beware if you're outside of main, big cities or any of the 23 wards of Tokyo, and then places like Osaka and things like that, you will run into in the more rural areas where a lot of them just do not speak English at all, or any other language for that matter. They'll still try and function with you, but it's not something that's a commonality for them. Other than that, the next thing, as far as like language wise, I would say would be, really, I think those are the primary things. And of course, like certain pleasantries in how to say excuse me, or thank you, or you're welcome, like those types of pleasantries, get it down. And understand that certain things, when you walk into a restaurant or whatever, you're almost always going to hear, or any store location for that matter, irashaimase. Like, people are going to scream that at you. Anime has prepared me for that. Yo, hey, listen. you gotta understand too that in some cases, I mean, anime works. It will work. In some cases, though, there's like slang that's thrown in there because it is anime, and it is what it is. But it does work. Certain films, stuff like that, and I know it's hard for people to keep up if it's a situation where they're trying to read the read the subtitles and listen to the language at the same time. And then since it's such a foreign thing to them, it's one of those things where it's like, are they really listening and understanding what's being said? It's just a baseline understanding. Exactly. And that baseline understanding works. What I will say is that if you try and practice it, so, okay, the written structure is katakana, hiragana, and kanji. Kanji is implemented into the Japanese language, even though, or into the Japanese written structure, even though it's a Chinese thing, okay? It's implemented in there for a reason. I won't go into the history. I do know the history. I could explain the full history of why, the whole story behind it, but it's unnecessary. What I will say is if you get some of the base stuff of kanji down, like in each kanji character, it can mean multiple things. But there's a base character built into those characters that if you know the baseline of it, you're pretty much good. Katakana, get it down somewhat. Because you're going to see that more than likely than anything. And again, places do have like English written in places, English menus, so on and so forth. You can get all of that. But if you plan on kind of submerging yourself into the culture and the lifestyle and everything else, especially if you're moving here, it's one thing to be coming to visit and everything else, but if you're planning on moving here, it is important that you get some of this stuff down. And then hiragana is like, it's another kana, but it's more so used for foreign words that technically did not exist in the Japanese language at all. You know, I mean, you can take that a lot of times with like names. You'll end up having it written in hiragana instead of in, katakana, though some can be written that way. Certain things like cheesy, it's typically written in hiragana versus katakana. And then the other part to that, I mean, really, that's it. If you get like some of the basics down, you're fine. What I will say, there is a way to cheat the system. So this is going into certain, like, I'll give you an idea of what you should know and what you can do or what you should do, and then a way to cheat the system. One of those ways to cheat the system, listen, you have a couple of different apps you can use. And one of the better ones for this purpose, surprisingly, would probably be Google Translate. And the reason I say it's one of the better ones is because, number one, it's free. As long as you have data, you're good. Now, the reason I say use Translate is this. Not only can you do conversation, not only can you, do it like sentence by sentence, word by word, but like full-on conversations, which it does mess up at times. But what you'll find is that here, and I've seen them do it, a lot of the people who don't necessarily speak English, understand this. Again, I'll say this again. People here, a lot more people speak English than what you think, but they are afraid to speak English because they don't want to mess up. They don't want to feel stupid. They don't want to look stupid, whatever. It can give a person a form of anxiety just as much for you if you have a portion of the Japanese language down. You will get anxious those first few times where you're talking to people and feeling like you're messing up. Don't let that happen to you, and don't let it derail you from actually attempting to do it. If you mess up, you mess up. It's fine. You'll get better. But I've seen them actually use with, so when I was at the hotel I was at initially, the front desk, one woman, she spoke damn near perfect English. She spoke damn near perfect English. There was two other women. They did, but you could tell when they were kind of, hey, what's going on, Dari? What'd you say there, Nina? I hate this about this touchscreen freaking thing. It's like if I make a mistake and touch too many places, the screen just doesn't want to act right. Hang on. Let's see. Let me try and pull up this. Oh, I see why it's doing that too. Whoopsie, kind of my stupid fault. I've done that to Japanese men. I'll use like some of the stuff that he was pretty comfortable practicing English. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And that's the thing. You'll even like if you do it right, you'll end up meeting people who want to hang out with you in order to like practice their English and everything else and bond and like you'll form like really good friendships and everything else. I mean, it's usually more, and that also depends on your personality as well. But what I was saying was, I saw them, they used it for some of the people who came who either spoke English or if they spoke, other languages as well. You're taking 45 minutes. And not what we're talking about. That's the thing. We've been talking about like a lot of different stuff. And right now I'm kind of giving people a way to, or like the top things they probably want to know or do before either planning a trip out to Japan or moving to Japan. After he and I were cool, next thing I knew, he bought like 3 other guys to meet me and my husband. Exactly. That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. You end up forming groups. And then because of the fact that you were so willing to do that, it was a very respectful thing to him. And then to bring more people into it just says that you built some kind of rapport with them. You built some kind of trust with them. So that is pretty damn awesome. And that's the thing here. So yeah, like I was saying, they were using it for like, a lot of Chinese people come, especially, to this area or whatnot. They'll come, Koreans, everything else. So you'll see them using Translate. But the other part of Translate is this. There's a section where you can actually use the camera to translate either a picture you may have saved or to translate on the go. So if you're in a restaurant that has no English menu and there's no pictures either, and you have no idea what the hell is on that menu, or you're standing outside, because a lot of places you'll see the menus outside too. You can actually pull up your camera and it'll read off everything that's there. He and I are on Facebook, and from time to time he'll message me to check up on us, to give us an update on his life with his family. That is cool as hell. See, right there, is he in Japan, or is he still in the States somewhere, moved? Like that right there. You literally, through language, that's what I mean too. Being able to speak a language, and that's why I'm enjoying like teaching language, is because of this. To me, language opens up an entire new world for you. It actually can immerse you. Yeah, he's back home in Japan. I can almost bet that if you talk to him and say that you were planning a trip to come out, you and your husband were planning a trip, they would either A, have you more than likely say that you could stay with them, or give you places near that you would be comfortable in staying at. Like, I can almost guarantee you that, because you built that kind of a bond with them. But yeah, language can open up so much. Now, what I was going to say is, so with that, with the app, with Translate, the camera section, so I mean, you could be outside and actually pull up everything on the menu, so before you even go inside as to what you're ordering. And so it is very, very helpful. There's also another app that does the same thing, but they do want some form of subscription. They'll allow you to use it for free, I think, here and there. I think you get like 3 still image or 3 pictures a day free, which if you're out traveling around throughout Tokyo and or other areas and stuff like that, especially in areas where a lot less people speak English, you will want to use Translate, which then kind of brings it to the aspect of your phone. Before you get here, talk to whatever phone company you have and find out about your international plan. Not just that, but what you'll find is that while you're here, you'll use more data than anything. And as soon as you get in, depending on if you're going through Haneda or Narita, both of them should have this, but there's going to be when you can go and actually exchange your money for yen, whatever country you're coming from. When you go to exchange for yen, right down the way, usually I in which one did I land in Haneda or Narita? Like this is blowing my mind. I landed in Haneda, so when you go through customs and everything else, when you come out facing like after you do baggage claim, you walk out to the left is where the money exchange is. All right, you go ahead and you can do your money exchange, and then if you turn walking away from money exchange, you're again turning left again, and you go straight. On the right hand side, there's a bunch of like mobile phone stores. And what they do there, if you are a resident, if you have a residence card, if you have a work visa, an extended visa, stuff like that, you can actually swap out and go ahead and get a Japanese number right then and there, or you can get a mobile data box. That mobile data box, you spend whatever amount it is, and for 30 days or whatever time period you set it for, it gives you unlimited data. You carry that thing around with you in your pocket, in your purse, whatever the case may be, and you just charge it when you're back wherever you are. So that way you have data on you, and you never run into a problem to where your phone doesn't work or you might be out of mobile data. And a lot of the restaurants, and then Tokyo in and of itself has free Wi-Fi spots everywhere. But in order just to kind of alleviate that, if you can get a Japanese phone plan, do so. If not, go ahead and do the mobile data situation right at the airport. And you can actually take those boxes and upgrade them or exchange them pretty much at any mobile shop that works with them. All right, so that's one thing there. Next up would be planning the trip. All right, your flight, depending on where it is you're leaving from, when you're leaving, everything else, depending on if you're doing just a holiday or vacation versus moving. Okay, there's a website, and you know what? I'll go ahead and I think I have this up right now somewhere too, and I'll show you. Yeah, I do have it up right here. All right, let me switch to screen share. Okay, so what you do, depending on where you're leaving from, all right? Hopefully you guys can see the screen. But if you're leaving from places like Hawaii, oh, there you go. So these are all the places they have available. Honolulu, Tokyo, Seoul, Manila, Bangkok, Singapore, Vancouver, San Francisco, San Jose, and Los Angeles. You can use this company right here, and it's called Zip Air. Listen, none of this is sponsored. I'm doing this just to give you guys information, whatever. Do I say use Zip Air? If you want to, go ahead. But I'm going to give you another option right after I show you this, though. So in my case, I decided to leave from Los Angeles. I was in Arizona. And so what I did was I looked for a trip through Zip Air, the closest airport to me that they would, fly me out. I could have gone to Honolulu for all I fucking wanted. I could have spent a day or two in Honolulu. But I decided I'm going to spend an entire day in Los Angeles, hang out there, do my thing, and then the next morning leave from there. So LA, select your destination. Tokyo, they only do Narita. And this is how you know I didn't use them, because I landed in Haneda. I could have gone through Narita, but I did Haneda for a very specific reason. So search flight. You need certain information. When you actually go ahead and book, you'll need this certain information. Oh, and let's say this. If you don't have your passport, get your damn passport. That's like one of the first things you need. You choose the amount of people, and right now we're just going with one. Is it going to be? I think this is where it asks. Oh, okay, so when? Now, of course, the farther out you go, the better it is. But right now, it'll show right here. Is this? I don't. Did I choose? Damn. I don't know if I chose one way or outbound flight. God damn it! I have to go back one. This is what I was looking for. I was like, did I get to choose whether it was one way? I think it's automatically presuming one way. God damn it! My bad. I just jumped right into this. Okay, round trip. Oh no, that was round trip. Holy shit, that was round trip. All right. So yeah. So one person. Let's go. Let's go with two because a lot of people are going to be traveling with two. All right. Of course, you get your date, and the farther out you actually plan this, the better it is. So right now, leaving. Wait, what? Okay, I'm guessing that's per person. So right now, if you were to leave tomorrow from Los Angeles, round trip, $507. Let's go a little farther down because most people want to plan like 3 months out in advance, something like that. So, what I will tell you too, and if you don't know this about traveling, Tuesdays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are usually cheaper flights. And that's at most with most airlines and everything else. But right here, the 23rd of April, $357.30 round trip. Now, of course, I know you're saying, but I got to take a flight from LA. If you live close to LA, you can drive to LA. You can get a flight to LA that's only going to cost you like 60, $70, something like that. Your one night stay. For me, I'm not even kidding. I planned this out so perfectly. I had a one way, one way, and I even got my ticket later. I didn't do it through Zip Air. I'll explain that in a minute. But I had a one way ticket. It was 300, 300 fucking dollars. All right, for a one shot, no layover. Every flight on this here too is one shot. There's no layover. 12 hours was my flight, and actually we did it in less time. I don't know. The pilots was up there like doing they thug fizzle. We got there. It was like 11 hours, a little just barely over 11 hours. But so I got the flight to LA. It was only like 50 some bucks, and then my stay, because of when I had booked it, was dirt cheap. All in all, I spent about $100 for the flight to LA, the stay overnight. Then, as far as food and stuff like that, yeah, I went out and ate. I was like, I was good, like whatever. Then my flight here was only, so I mean, in total, 400, like $400. I could have done it first class for like 700. No bullshit, first class, because they even give you an option on here whether you're doing standard or first class. And of course, the farther out you go, no full flat. You know what? I'm not even going into that. But yeah, you have that option as well. So that's one thing. And if you're going from any of those cities, it's a no-brainer. Now, if you want, you can use a different service. For me, what I did was I actually used I'm not saying their name. I used a different company, all right? And that company online website, you pretty much saying I have no excuse on why I can't take a trip. Exactly. That is pretty much what I'm saying. That is pretty much what I'm saying. So I did it through an online website. I set up my flight, which I actually didn't even do Zip Air. What's going on, Straps? How you doing? I didn't even do Zip Air. I did American. I got American Airlines, straight shot here. All right, and I think they at that point It's one of their subsidiaries, so like American Eagle, something like that. Straight shot here, 300 and some change, and then I set up my hotel at that point too, which was surprisingly inexpensive for that period. So what I would say though is this: don't even get a hotel. If you're coming here, if you're coming here only for like a few days, maybe a couple weeks, okay, do a hotel. And I would even advise you to try and get a hotel, a room at a place called Smile Hotel. If you're in Asakusa, they're amazing. There's other Smile hotels throughout, but I mean, do what's good for you. Like for me, being that it was just me, that room was fucking perfect for me. If you need a little bit more space, you can do that. But a lot of people are trying to be on some kind of a budget when they actually come out here. So I would advise you to look for what fits you best. You can do hostels and things like that. You can do capsules. And I would say if you want to experience it, do capsules for a couple of nights, but have a room set up in the area that you're going to be staying in after those couple of nights. You don't want to stay in capsules for long periods of time. Some people do because it is very, very budget friendly. I'm talking it's like 20 some odd bucks a night. So I can crash at your place. Hey, yo, yeah, listen, my new place, like once I move in there, no, I'm serious. I'll have the space. You and your husband can, yeah, you guys will be good. I'll have the extra room. So, yeah. But capsules and stuff like that, they're very, very budget friendly. So is like a hostel. The catch to most of a lot of those places, I mean, you're going to be sharing bathroom with other people, so on and so forth, which is not that big of a deal. And then more than likely, you may not have a shower there, but guess what? That's what onsens and like bathhouses are for, right there. Another experience you don't want to miss out on. But so my hotel room, though, it had bath, shower, my toilet wiped my ass and cleaned my ass for me as well. Like it was the whole nine. The catch to it was, I mean, even for my, like, I was too tall for that bathtub. But I'm not going to lie, I did jump in that bitch a couple of nights after being out and walking around and, like, doing so much, especially at the first couple of days. It's like, even if you work out on a regular basis, what you will find is when you're here and you're out walking and, like, doing all the stuff, you don't realize how much you're moving, how much activity you're actually putting on your body. And by the end of the night, it's like, what is wrong with my legs and my calves? Hot bath. Absolutely best thing you'll ever do. And so that's why, again, onsens and bathhouses are fantastic for that. Now, do be careful if you have tattoos. In my case, I actually found an onsen and bathhouse, two different spots where they don't give a damn. They're like, it's perfectly fine. I was like, bet. Normally, I would have to do like private places or whatever, or you can also do like hotel rooms and stuff like that that have onsen, an onsen built into it. We have both tats. We both have tats though. You're fine. Depending on where you are, I will say that there are some areas that are going to be like, no, absolutely not. But if you're in Tokyo, a lot of places will accept it. And I mean, you can go in and just ask, if you're worried about it. That's my next thing. If you do that, if you do go to an onsen, and we can pull the American. No, you can't. I don't give a fuck. You pull the American card, they'll be like, and what? But if you do go to an onsen or bathhouse, something like that, learn the proper etiquette. Bathhouse, like right before you even step inside, before you cross the threshold in, take your shoes off. Usually there's going to be lockers right there that are for your shoes. You put your shoes in that locker. You take it's usually a wooden card. Some of them, oh no, I know you are. I'm just saying. But some of the more like newer ones or whatever, they'll have like a key system, but a lot of them still use the old wooden card lock system. So you throw those in there, and then you walk in. Women, dependent, I mean, it's usually a left-right system, but you'll be able to see women to one side, men to the other side. There's very few. There's very few that are that are co-ed anymore, but there still are. Hey, Straps, thank you for that. I'm just talking to everybody about like what things to do and prepare for before you either visit Japan or move to Japan. But once you go in, then that's where you pay, and then you have the dressing room. Go ahead, strip down. Then you go inside the main area, grab your bucket and your seat, sit down. Do the shower thing. Everything else, scrub yourself really well. You want to take the little things that you need with you, the necessities, in like a little bag or whatever. So your soap, your whatever you're using, whether it's a sponge or a loofah or a glove, like whatever it is, you're gonna do all that. Then you get up and you can go ahead and hop into whatever temperature of hot tub you want. And usually it ranges from like super hot. Yeah, I did Straps. And if you guys can't see who I'm talking to right now, there's people on YouTube. I'm talking to them. And yeah, you guys on YouTube can see the Twitch chat. But what is that? Oh, I just got a message. But anyway, so yeah, there's levels of, the water. So you have like extremely hot to warm to lukewarm. And in some of them, they have like a cold water bath as well. Once you're done, you get out. I mean, people spend 45 minutes, an hour and a half. Bullet is talking to the voices in his head. There's so many of them, each of my personalities. But there's so many different styles of onsen and bathhouse you can go to. I love it. I absolutely love it, Straps. I love it here, and I'm gonna say something in a minute about that too. But once you're done, you get out. Like I said, people can spend like an hour, 2 hours in there, just like it's so relaxing. And then you get out and you shower again, dry off, go out, like put your stuff away, go out, finish your drying off, get dressed. And I will tell you, dependent on a lot of things. So for one, if you have tattoos, if you are built a certain way, whatever. So it's crazy. Like people have kind of I've gone to that one specific bathhouse like 3 or 4 different times now, because even though I can shower here and everything else, it's just one of those things to be able to go do that. And I do it before I go out at night too. So I'm like super relaxed. I've got my relax on. And then when I'm done, I'm about to go out and like just drink and hang out, do all kinds of stuff. But the first time I walked in, it was the craziest thing. So I take off my shirt and instantly, like, the fuck? And they hadn't even seen my tattoos, because all of my tattoos are on my back. One is in the right here on my spine just below the cerebellum area, and then the other ones are on my shoulders and then running down my my biceps. So it's like everybody looks and they're like, what the fuck? And here's what's crazy. I already knew what they were thinking, because the women that I like gone out on dates with, and the ones that, we were in chill mode, with Netflix and chill mode, like they all said the same thing. How much do you work out? Like every one of them, like, what do you do? How much do you work out? And mind you, I'm wider than most people here. I'm like a little bit taller than a lot of them. The women, I'm taller than most of them, but I'm not as tall as some. I am 5'7". I have no shame in my height. I'm a big boy though. And I mean, as soon as they started, like everybody was like, shit. And I'm wide. And then the waist cuts in. And then when I turned, I could see in the mirror that was in front of me, the people that were behind me. Once they saw my tattoos, they were like, it gave them kind of a startle, a shock. And then when I went in, did the whole thing, whatever, and they all realized, like, number one, they heard me speak Japanese to the owner. Then when I went in and I knew the whole custom of how to do things, they were just like, well, fuck. And I have now seen some of these people, because it's a thing, like, in the neighborhoods, everyone goes on a regular basis. And so I've seen a lot of them multiple times, and they're just like, it's not a problem now. It's no issue or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, what I was going to say is this. If you are doing more than a couple of weeks, do not get a hotel. Don't do it to yourself. If you're staying for a month, 2 months, if you have a tourist visa, then you have 3 months here at max before you have to go back, and then you can come back again. If you're doing that, get a monthly apartment before you even come here. Just do it. I will actually, like, this portion of the video, this is why I'm saying that video is going to get edited for YouTube. I will put up a couple of websites, even put it in the description, the places that you can look for monthly places. And they're going to be specifically for Asakusa, but you can, in that search, find if you're going to, most people are going to be staying in one of the 23 wards of Tokyo. So you'll be able to find different areas, whether it's Shinjuku or Shibuya or Ikebukuro or Akihabara, whatever. You'll be able to look for places in those areas. And I can tell you right now, for a month, you're going to spend on a monthly rental somewhere within the range of 80,000 upwards to 180,000 yen for the month. All right? But realize this. You don't have to pay the extra cost that you would actually usually have to pay in a hotel. You're going to be in an apartment. You're going to be in a full-size apartment. They're more than likely going to be furnished. You'll have internet access, like all of those things already set up for you. You'll be good. Now, that's the smarter way to go with that. The money you should actually bring, I would say, come with, dependent, there's smart ways to do things. I would say easily $3,000, maybe 4. All right. The reason I say that is because people always want to exceed. I mean, you could come here with $2,000 and be perfectly fine for like a month to 2 months, perfectly fine. But people like to spend money while they're here. There's so many places to go shopping. There's so many different places to go eat. And then I know a lot of people, the one thing that they do, they fall into a trap, and this is kind of my next point. They fall into the tourist trap, where they go to all the places that have the big signs and the food, like, in the pictures, so on and so forth. The stuff costs more than what it would cost for you to actually, whatever area you're in, walk down the alleyways where you'll find even better tasting food at better fucking prices. And then going only for anime merch? Exactly. Nina, yeah. You in Akihabara, you're going to lose your shit. Even here in Asakusa, the places where, I know that they have like anime merch and different stuff like that are insane. But the food, like, you're going to try the food, merch and snacks. That's what I was going to say. You're going to try the foods, and you're going to want to go to like the different cafes that have all the random snacks and, desserts and different stuff like that. But I would say, yeah, with even for 2 people, come with like 3 to 4 racks. 3 to 4 racks. If you can do more, do more. You're not really going to. But then, of course, like, you might want to go to Harajuku and buy a lot of like different clothing and stuff. The sites will be the bonus. Exactly. And that's the big thing. Shopping here is not that expensive if you're smart about it. It's not at all. You can bring $2,000, $3 grand between two people and come out here and have a blast. But then, of course, like people like to go and do the Teppan places or Kobe places and stuff like that, and you're spending like 10,000 yen off the rip per person in one of those places. You I know I'm going to do that at some point in time because it's been so long since I've actually had like Kobe like that, but it's not something I can actually do right now after the incident. I'm down for all the discount stores to be cheaper than buying online. Exactly. And not just that, but there's stuff here you will only find here, nowhere online. Hell, I went to a spot, I saw a jacket I like. I was like, oh, I want that jacket. Whole part is like suede and like just a mean ass jacket. In the States, that'd be like a $400, $500 jacket. Here, like 130, 140 bucks at most. Like, it's insane. But then as far as like your eating, you can go out and eat. And I'm telling you, considering what's been going on here, I kind of want to put out like a challenge, eating with 1,000 yen a day, just to prove it can be done. And mind you, 1,000 yen, less than $10. All right, less than $10. I want to give it the actual cost, and I could be slightly off on this. It's about 7 and some change, maybe $8, something like that. So if any of you saw I put out a video a couple of days ago where I went out and I had katsu. I had full meal. It was exactly $5 American. It was huge slice of chicken katsu, miso, green onions, and a large lump of cabbage behind it, with a nice big bowl of rice, as well as a big ass bowl of miso soup. And then they gave you green tea as part of the meal. Like right when you walk in, they'll either walk up and give you water or tea, and that was it. It cost me $5 American. The bowl of ramen I had the day before that was $5.32 US dollars, which in the US, going out to get ramen like that, man, that's $20 off the rip. And it was one of the best ramens I've ever had in my life. $5, $5.32. Insane. And then got gyoza with it too, and that was only like $1 and some change, 6 gyoza. And how much, like, if you get an appetizer of gyoza in the States, if I remember correctly, and especially if you're doing like pork, everything, you're spending like $7, $8 on that. Here, it's like $1. $2 at max. It's nuts. So that's why I say, if you come with a couple $1,000s, you're in good. You're in good for that stay. But I would advise, if you stay for a month or longer, get an actual monthly rental here. Again, I'll put the link in the description. I'll even show the website, during the edits that I do on YouTube or for YouTube or whatever. What's next? Okay, next up, it kind of goes into what I was already talking about, eating. Don't fall into the traps. Do not fall into a lot of the traps. And a lot of those traps would be the overpriced places where you see a ton of tourists go. You're going to try some of them. There's no doubt about that. But don't do it every day. Technically, you could eat 3 times a day. Honestly, for 1,000 yen, maybe I would say 2,000 yen per person. All right. Here's why I say that. So, first off, breakfast, it's not that expensive of a meal, especially if you get up in time to go to certain places where you can get like a whole. So here, a meal is called a set or setto. So you go in and you order a meal set that might cost you somewhere around, 400, 500 yen, something like that. There are places that it's going to be a little bit more, but the smarter thing would be to go to a place called Maruetsu. And I will be putting an image of a Maruetsu up, and a lot of them are like markets. You'll find Maruetsus throughout most of Tokyo. You'll find konbinis throughout all of all of Japan, whether it's a 7-Eleven or a Lawson. You can go into one of those places and they already have like tamango like ready, or egg, like a omelet. So most of you have probably seen it, like the rolled egg omelet that's sliced down, and it's 100 to 200 freaking yen for that right there as part of your breakfast. Get a marupan, a melon bread, and you've got breakfast, or a piece of toast, and you've got breakfast. You can go to a lot of the cafes. Breakfast here, seriously, is like a slice of toast with jam of some sort, and you got to think about this. The bread's like that damn thick, all right? So a slice of toast with coffee, stuff like that. You can do a full breakfast, everything else, for a very low cost. You can go out and do the whole, like, you know what, I'm living it up. So the matcha green tea pancake that I had, the souffle pancake, where I was at that restaurant, and you guys probably saw it because I uploaded it on a short on, I think, every platform, and I know on IG there's a picture of it. The souffle pancake was like this big. It had a whipped cream that also had cream cheese mixed into it. It came with the matcha green tea sauce, as well as matcha ice cream, hazelnut, and then candied black beans. Just that by itself was only like 550 yen for the single one. That's it. That's it. I mean, honestly, that was enough with a drink for breakfast. And you just go from that point. I'm happy with just red bean buns. Hey, exactly. That right there. You can get those. You can get those at so many places. You can get them in Lawson. You can get them in 7 as well. So then lunch. Lunch, of course, you can pick up stuff from a Maruetsu, something like that. And I'll tell you, like, this right here, not even joking. Not even joking. The brand, it's made by Nissan, but the brand is so it's like Craftsman. It says Craftsman Craftsman noodles, and it's a chicken broth. This thing has a little packet of sauce. It has like fish cake in it, as well as your oh my god, the word I'm looking for here, seaweed, stuff like that in there. And then I had like a little it sounds good, but let me say this, that's like one of my favorite store-bought ramens right there. It is for an instant ramen, that is insanely good. And then I also had egg. I had egg with it. That enough for lunch right there. Because then I know at dinner, I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat. And I mean, you can do anything you want. You could go down to a menchikatsu place and get that as lunch. One of those will do you right for lunch. But then dinner, you go actually eat. And again, you're going to spend anywhere from, I mean, a bowl of ramen, a really good bowl of ramen can range you anywhere from 600 to 1,100 yen. That's the cost of it right there. Now, again, the other thing you can do, especially if you're in a monthly place, you can cook there. All right? Go shop for groceries for a few days. You'll spend a couple thousand yen for like three days worth of groceries. It can be done. So you don't need a whole lot of money to do so. But if you want to go out and have like slightly expensive meals, you can still get away with it for about 11 to 1,500 yen per person every single every day, at least one meal being that cost. And again, you'll still be fine with like 2 racks being here for a month or two. The other part of that, what else? What else would I say as far? Oh, okay. If you are trying to do an extended stay, and this probably should have been one of the first things, if you're trying to do an extended stay or move here, and you don't have citizenship, then you need to make sure that you get everything taken care of with your consulate there, or what's the word that I'm looking for? Essentially, where they handle visas. All right, you can get a tourist visa, like I said, that's a 3-month stay. You can get an extended visa, which can be for a year, 2 years, or 5 years. And of course, you can do student visas. And the student visas, while you're in school, there's 2 different types. There's one that you can actually stay as long as you take courses during the summer, even like part-time courses and stuff like that during the summer. And then the other where you have to leave during summer, but then you come back and go ahead and you're good. Now, for people from Europe, they have something called a working holiday visa. And this is what's crazy. It amazes me that the U.S. doesn't have something like this. So essentially, they can come on this form of a holiday visa and stay for 6 months. Zero problem. No thought about it. They don't have to be working. It's just, fuck it. You're here. You're good. Whatever. Go for it. It's like, wait, what? But the U.S., it's 3 months max, unless you're doing something else. Now, with the working visa, if you're with a company that's transferring you here, or you have a company here that's willing to sponsor you, then they can sponsor you for a year, 2 years, or whatever the case, and then you can work towards permanent residence here. The other type would be if you have a certain skill set. We're not talking like the taken sort of skill set. I have a certain set of skills. No, we're talking like if you're a photographer, if you're a journalist, if you're an entertainer. And entertainer is kind of a broad spectrum too. And hell, you can get away with online entertainer and different things like that as well. Online personalities. You can get extended stay visas for 2 years or more and even work towards residency. Like photographers and things like that, and chefs, bruh. Like here, they're like chefs are needed. They are very much so needed. If you have culinary degrees, things like that, you could technically come here and have a permanent stay form of visa because of that specialized skills. Engineers, like all sorts of stuff. Now, if a job is going to sponsor you, they'll get all the paperwork done and stuff like that before you even get here, and bam, you're good. Just the same as school. So those are the different types of visas. You got to figure out what you're going to be doing. If you're just coming on holiday, then that's simple. If you're from the U.S., you got 3 months. If you're from the U.K. and certain other countries, you got at least 6 months, maybe even a year in certain cases, that you could just stay and you're good. Beyond that, I mean, those are the primary things. I've been talking about this for a minute. I can go into so much more, but I would say those are the primary things that you need to know if you're planning a trip or planning to move to Japan. I mean, hey, feel free to ask, any questions in comments or right now in chat, and yeah, we'll go from there. But I don't know. So to the question that I got asked by, who was it? Let's see. Oh, Straps. So I can say this because I thought about this. It was like 2 days in a row this kind of hit me. Even with the thing that you guys know that happened with losing all the money that I lost, my wallet, stuff like that. In the moment, I was pissed. I was like, I was absolutely livid to figure out that it had happened and to know that it had happened so much earlier to an extent where there was nothing I could do about it. In the moment, I was fucking heated. But there's something about this place. I cannot even joke. It's calming. It is very calming. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. I just got a message on something that I needed. It's extremely calming. Every day, I almost can't sleep because of the fact that I don't want to sleep. You guys know I normally only sleep 4 hours a day anyway, so on and so forth. But I keep finding myself getting worse and worse about it. Last night even, it had stopped raining. It had rained for 3 days straight. Today it's it's raining again. It's going to calm down a little, but then it's going to start back up. But last night it was clear, everything else. And it was 1 o'clock in the morning. I got up, went out, took a walk, and was just relaxed as could be. Came back, went and sat up on top of my roof, and just in super chill mode. I was on the phone, stuff like that, with somebody back from the States. And then even after we got off the phone, I found myself up till almost 5 o'clock this morning. And so, yeah, it's nice. It's not just nice, Nina. So the realization a couple of days ago, even after everything that had gone on, I thought about the last couple of years. All the stuff that had happened. This affected me during that point in time, but it wasn't something that I was super, super down. But I think it still caused me a lot of stress and everything else when I was back there. But the breakup, having to leave, that relationship, everything else. Thank you for that, Straps. Thank you. I'm glad I helped make people's day better being on here. But that breakup and then the accident where I literally died twice in a night. The constant, work and all the stuff that I had to deal with, day in, day out, stressing about certain things that I really didn't need to stress about or I shouldn't have been stressing about. And it's a funny thing because I'm such a calm individual and I keep things so much so to myself that a lot of people around me usually don't know. They'll know certain things, but they won't know the whole of it. And I think a lot of people are like that. And then it was always this focus of tomorrow and the next day and 6 months and a year and 5 years and all this stuff that kept me just feeling completely overwhelmed at times. I mean, in a way that it shocked even me to feel that way. For some reason, being here, nope. I think I told you guys about the night that it was one of the last nights before I left too. I was going out. I was going to take a run. I had my black jacket on, black shirt, my black and gray shorts, black kicks, all black. Late at night, I wanted to go and take a run, so I left my place. I'm walking down the sidewalk, going to the park that I used to go and run at, and there was this girl walking towards me. I saw her walking towards me, so I immediately, for whatever reason, took it upon myself to go towards the street so that she didn't feel uncomfortable as she was walking past me and everything else. The closer we got to one another, I could see, the long blonde hair, and I saw her phone in her face, the light flashing in her face. But for some reason, as soon as we're about to pass one another, she just jumped, freaked out, and screamed, "Oh my God, you scared the fuck out of me!" And I looked at her. I swear to you, I looked at her and I laughed. I'm like, no, you scared the fuck out of yourself. You scared yourself, not paying attention. And just walked away. And I went ahead, did what I was doing. And it was that realization that, So first off, in America and a lot of country stuff like that, you'll note like walking down the street and you hear so many women say, I don't feel comfortable walking down the street. I don't feel safe, like blah blah blah. Some guy's gonna hit on me or some guy's gonna like we don't even have to be thinking about you. I don't give a fuck about you walking down the street or whatever. If I wanted to holler at you, I'm gonna actually do it in a certain way that is going to make you feel at ease, first and foremost. And fuck, I've done it here. Where I wanted to talk to a girl, and typically people don't do, they don't do it a lot here. And that's what got her too. She was like, yes, here's my line, here's my number. Yes, we can go out as soon as you tell me what day. But it's like the ego, the fucking, the overwhelming fear that people have there, and I hate saying this, but the reality of it is, being an individual with with melanin in the skin doesn't help at all there either, especially at night, especially when you're like built the way that I am too, and then you're in all black, even though I'm wearing shorts, like I'm about to go and run. I'm not in like all black pants, black ski mask, some shit like that. But people freak out. And here, nah. I'm walking down the street. I got shorties behind me. I'm behind some shorty or whatever. I just like move along, get around her or whatever. She might say what's up to me. A lot of people don't speak when they're on the streets here or whatever, but it depends on the scenario. But yeah, I've had it. Like women at night, come on, ma, and I'm just like, holla at your boy, whatever, and keep it moving. All of those things that felt so sometimes like, I knew it was there while I was there. I knew it was there. I had to, to take it upon myself to walk into the street in order to make someone else feel more comfortable about walking down the street really says something to, how you not only see yourself in the world that you live in, but how you perceive others to see you based on the things that you hear and see on a daily basis. And here it's not like that. And not just that, but instead of always like being so stuck on what I have to do tomorrow and the next day and whatever, it's like I feel myself enjoying every day in every moment that I'm in. Yes, I know I have things to do tomorrow. I know I have things to do, the following week or whatever, but it's not that overwhelming thing where like everyone around you is exactly the same, like spewing this and putting it on you and like, I this done and I blah, blah, blah. And it's not like that. For some reason, just being able to walk down the street and feel actually free releases that, to see all the things around you. And what's funny, people have to understand that the Japan as a whole is a small country. It can fit into the United States multitudes of times over. But because of the way that it's built and because of all the different things and the way that the space is used, and there's always something that you can do or something around you that is entertaining or a sight to behold or whatever. And you got to understand, this isn't coming from the perspective of, oh yeah, I've been here for a month and blah, blah, blah. No. I lived here before. And every time, when I got off the plane that day, when I walked out of the airport, I swear to you, the first thing that came to me was, I'm home. And only two places I love the States. Don't get me wrong. I loved living there. I had to leave some people behind there I have known for over 20 fucking years. Best friends. Like, we essentially grew up together. I know so many people there. It is ridiculous. And I'm not even talking in the place I was living. I mean, all over the U.S. All over the U.S. So, but there's only two places that ever really made me feel like, man, nothing. even though I know things matter, I'm good. Nothing matters. I'm at home, Spain, and here. And it's just become that realization more and more for the last few days, too. I mean, it more and more. It's like I I could do something different every single day. And I mean, even in the city that I'm in right now. But then when I go to other places, to some, it's somewhat overwhelming because there's so much that you don't know what to do. And especially if you're on a limited amount of time. But I know the only time I'm leaving here is when I go to now visit the States, or, in a short while, I'll be going to Korea for a couple weeks. And that flight, not even bullshitting. If I do Zip Air, $157 to go to Korea and then come back. The fuck? Okay. But it's just one of those things where, like, I know for me, it's like I can spend every single day for the next however long I decide. That should be fun, doable. Oh, yeah. When I go to, oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. I mean, I still have stuff that I need to edit for you guys that I haven't put up yet. When I was in, where was I? Was it Shinjuku? Yeah, I think it was when I went to like two different places that I have not gotten to edit it yet. And the reason why I haven't technically was because the next day I was planning on going to, oh God, to Tokyo Dome City, as well as there's another place where I can't think the name of it, but I didn't, and I was supposed to go to Shibuya and Ikebukuro that next day, but I didn't do that because it rained one day, and then a couple of days later was when the incident happened on the national holiday. So it kind of screwed that up. So I mean, that video's kind of been in waiting for over almost 2 weeks now, but I'm waiting until I go to those other places so I can make just one like 25-30 minute video. I have to edit a ton of stuff in it in order to get it to that time. But yeah, long story short, to what I was saying, to the question that was asked, I've been doing great here. I feel so much better, so much more relaxed, so much more at peace, so much, I don't know, so much more appreciative of my day to day. Like it's a huge thing. Do I miss being where I was? Fuck yes. Fuck yes. And what's crazy, an offer came to me the other day that I seriously thought about it. And the only reason why I thought about it was this. I would have to go back to the States for a year if if I decide to talk to them again and everything is yes, I would have to go back to the States for 1 year. And I could do it. And the reason why I could do it is because of the amount of money I would make if I did it. Listen, I'm not going to lie to y'all. Y'all know I've been doing this on here for a long time, and it's a thing where I just enjoy doing it. In my spare time when I can. If it were a thing that I would make it like, absorbent amounts of money on as a content creator or whatever, if I actually put out more content and did it better, I don't have the time to sit there and edit my videos for the most part. There's some that I will do it on, and yeah, but for the most part, no. And I mean, people watch it, they comment, I comment, or I talk back to them, whatever the case may be. It's a very enjoyable thing to me to do this. And for the people who do come on to ask questions and we talk and when we game and all those things. But if it were like I were making money like that, oh shit, yeah, I wouldn't even like think about this other thing. But the money's so good that I thought to myself, I can go back to the States for 1 year. And I wouldn't do a damn thing while I was there except work and just save damn near every penny outside of what I need as far as living expenses on a monthly basis, and then come back here with that money. Shit. shit. Yo, it would be ridiculous. Wouldn't have to worry about a thing for a long time. But then at the same time, I would still work. I know myself. I would still work here, and I would just have that money in the background, make the money that I make here from teaching, or if I go into the tech job that was planned for me here in about a year's time, bro. Getting paid the tech job. Here's what's funny about that one. The pay, it's damn near 500,000 a month. 500,000 yen a month, which is crazy. And this is when you know. This is when you know you get paid the right amount to what you have to spend here. Most people who live in Tokyo, especially, have two homes. They have a home outside of Tokyo, and then they have a home in Tokyo. It depends on the type of job that you work. Let me correct that statement. But making that type of money, I would have two homes in Japan. I would have my place that I lived in Tokyo when I wanted to live in Tokyo, and especially during holiday times, I could just always come back to that spot, and then I would have my place wherever it is that I'm working. Because again, living in the outskirts or whatever, I'm spending somewhere around 50 to 70,000 yen a month. Living in Tokyo, I'm spending somewhere between 80,000 upwards of 140,000 a month. But when you're making 500,000 a month almost, come on, bruh. And then to have that money backing me from the company in the States if I go back for the year, yo, I would be good. Everything else from that point in time would be like, what business do I start here? Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. And it's funny to see because lately the numbers on YouTube and stuff like that have been going up. And I'm like, what ends up happening if it becomes a thing where I actually start like making decent money with that, and then I can pay an editor and I can do more stuff, because then at that point the money that I make on there is just funneling into making more videos and everything else. What happens then? Holy shit, But I mean, I love being here. To answer the question, I was saying the only reason why I would go back would be, again, to holiday there for like a month or so, or if it were a very lucrative work situation where they knew after a year's time, maybe 2 years at max, I'm moving back here, and that's it. If you want to pay me in a remote position or whatever, fuck it. I'll do it. I will do it. Because having that US dollar translation here, bruh, insanity. Absolute insanity. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. You guys have any other questions or whatever? I mean, like I said, the stuff that I kind of gave you as far as if you're planning on visiting here or moving here, trust me, it will help you out a great deal. If it's a thing that there's more stuff, I know there's more stuff that I can think of, but we would be sitting here streaming for hours and just me talking about these things. It's 2:19 in the afternoon here right now, and at some point in time, I do need to get up and go out. Plus, I have another project I have to deal with for my classes. But do you guys have anything else that you want to know? Anything you want to ask specifically? Whatever. I mean, we've covered a lot today, and then of course the other videos online, like dating, stuff like that, like how that works here. It's a very funny thing too here. The way I look at this place sometimes, the entirety, like the country of Japan, is like the hot chick that doesn't know it's hot, that she's hot, that doesn't know it's hot. It's the hot chick that doesn't know she's hot, or somebody told her she wasn't hot to fuck her ego off, and so she's jaded throughout the rest of her her dating life. It reminds me of that in so many ways, because it's like the people themselves, I know, right? Japan is like, I know, right? Japan is like a dream. Yeah, it is. But the people in having the conversations I've had, and it's a beautiful thing, especially when you go out. This again, I've told people 1,000 times over, drinking is a very big thing here. And the reason why, and it goes to like most Asian culture too. I know they're like this in Korea as well. People aren't necessarily very direct here. More people are becoming more direct here than I think I had ever seen before. But they're not very direct. They're not very open until they start drinking. Then, bruh, like they're loud, they're laughing, they're talking about just like some of the craziest shit. You'll see people passed out in an izakaya. I heard a few weeks ago, there were these three women at a restaurant that was technically more like they served like full dishes versus just standard izakaya food. But these three women were getting lit in there. One of them, she was so loud and it was hilarious, like the conversation they were having. But then she had drank so much to the extent to where like she just laid her fucking head down on the counter and lightweight passed out. She could have chilled like that and been fine. Her friends, like, they got her some water, stuff like that. But while she was laying there, a dude came in with his girl or whatever. And this is how crazy it is in those types of scenarios. It's where people open up more. He went up, he was going to grab himself water, and he grabbed a couple of extra glasses of water, went over to the women, didn't know them, but they were so grateful for him thinking of them to do so and to help their friend out. People are just like that when they're in that situation. But on the streets, you'll notice so many people are so stuck in like their phone or with their headset on. And it's almost a thing of where they're trying to kind of not be noticed, even though the reality of it is here. And this is from these conversations I've had, especially like going out on the dates. It's like the women themselves said, people want to be noticed here, but they take things in the wrong sort of light when they are noticed, which is why so many like Asians have certain plastic surgeries done, because they're never happy with, you know, their look, even though they are so. Oh my god, yo, listen, I can't like I cannot express this enough. Walking down, if I walk outside right now, they are fire. I like that, Nina. If I walk outside right now, I can tell you this corner that I live on right now, busy all the time. Busy. Every intersection of this corner. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 intersections on the corner. And the reason why it's a fifth is because there's this center row that's another section that, you know, you can walk down everything else and you cross over to one of the other sides. But anyway, if I walk out right now, I guarantee you there's going to be like 7, 8 bad females that walk by me within like 15 to 20 seconds of me walking out of my door. Not joking. And I find myself like, as I'm walking down the street, and I'm just like, God, what the hold up. And that's why it was so hard for me not to actually stop and talk to the women that I like stopped and talked to and asked out, because I couldn't help my goddamn self. I was like, she is too bad to not get approached for real. And when it happens, that's when you realize it's like they're doing this in this feeling of inadequacy. And it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. Because like I said before, the one of the girls, she goes, it's so awkward because when people look at each other in the face, a lot of the women, the first thing they think is, what's wrong with my face? Like, what's wrong with me? And I'm like, what? What? Yeah, that's just how it is. They think that they got something on their face or there's something wrong with them. They look funny. And you notice it too. You will see it a lot of times where like it's just like they could be like looking and then they notice like someone looking at them and then they're just like immediately like, and what's crazier is when they pull their phone and you know there's nothing on the screen and then you catch them kind of like look at themselves in the reflection of the phone. And I'm just like, wow. But that's the way that, the culture kind of is. And then like later at night though, that's when you see more people just kind of come to life. And not only that, like I said, when you're in a bar setting or certain restaurant settings and stuff like that, especially like ramen spots, everybody is much more like open and talkative and everything else. So it's the hot chick that doesn't know it's hot, and it's because of the way that the people see themselves, and that the hierarchy does exist here. I will say that right now. But can you tell? Not so much. People with money really will look down on the people who are considered, middle class or whatever. People who shop at certain places. And honestly, it's smarter to shop at those places, especially if you work like 10, 12 hours in a day and you want to eat something and not have to wait in a queued up line or be in like a group of large people or have a lot of like stuff going on around you, and you want to just go home, not even cook. You just want to go home, sit down, heat something up real quick and eat. That's what a Maruetsu's for. That's what a Lawson's for. That's what a 7-Eleven's for, because they actually have food. Maruetsu, way better than the Kombinis, but still, the Kombinis have good food. But a lot of people who do that from the upper class individuals are kind of looked down upon. And it's really interesting. And what's funny here, so I've gone out, I go out in my casual gear. I don't give a fuck. I know what I got. I know who I am. I know what I do. All right. And then I've gone out in like being suited up. I always loved dressing that way. Always do. You guys have never really gotten to see me do that. My life for a very long time was in nothing but suits. And when I go out, like people really do, they'll like look and be like, holy shit. And it's a different sense of style than what the business people here have. It might even look a little bit, I don't consider it flashy, but it might look a little bit flashier to them because of the type of suits and ties and stuff like that I'll wear. But you notice the difference when I'm out like in street gear or casual wear versus being suited up. There's a very different sort of look that people will give. And then of course, being that a lot of times they're like a foreigner like dressed like what the fuck? Like what the fuck is he doing? Whatever. But when it comes to the Japanese people amongst themselves, and please understand that, when you're out, especially in Tokyo and stuff like that, you're going to run into Japanese, you're going to run into Korean, you're going to run into Chinese, you're going to run into Filipino, Vietnamese, so on and so forth. Understand, there's a difference between these people. And by the way, Japanese people aren't just, I hate saying racist, so biased against Americans. No. They got a bias against everybody that's not Japanese. Dead ass. And the only way that bias gets broken usually, and it's not all of them, let me say that. Especially in rural areas though, the greater amount of people in those rural areas, they're like, I don't know you, I'm not talking to you. But what gets them to know you is kind of at least attempting to not necessarily fit in, but to have like the politeness that they tend to have, to try and use the language, even if you're afraid to do so. Just doing those little things makes them in rural areas feel more at ease. Me, there's 3 bars here that I will go to on different nights of the week. And the reason why is because, I mean, like, you find yourself being very loyal to certain bars. The one that's downstairs, I mean, that's a no-brainer. I have a bar downstairs beneath me. Right now, I could get up, walk downstairs, go into the bar. Cool. It's not even open. There's one that's down the street from here, owned by a she's Chinese and Japanese and her husband. And then there's another one that's about a good 20-minute walk away from me called Indigo. The people there are they're awesome. I've met so many people going there, just because when I went in, and as soon as they heard me speak Japanese, like, people like turn around, they're like, what the fuck? And then they'll say something, and they'll say, oh, wow, you speak Japanese, or your Japanese pronunciation is amazing, or it's great, or whatever. Those little things kind of help out. And what you'll find is that you will run into, especially if you go to the locations where where a lot of people live in those areas. So if you go to the back streets instead of going to all the touristy locations or whatever, you'll find that you'll run into those people in those bars and those restaurants in the alleyways or whatever. And the next thing you know, now you're talking to another group of people because you met this one or two or three individuals somewhere else, and now they're kind of bringing you into the community. And that's what happens in a lot more of the rural areas. Yes, granted, a lot of the older generation who then teach like the younger generation, like, oh, foreigners, don't fuck with them, this, that, and the other, whatever. There's the ones who will. And then they'll open up more people for you to meet. They'll give you more things for you to go out and see and experience and try and so on and so forth. And that's how you form your friend group or whatever. A lot of people here are, I would technically call a great deal of people here introverts. And I understand a lot of people in the world nowadays are introverted more so than ever because of the fact that we rely so much on our technologies in order to talk to one another. You don't really see people go out and really meet in that standard way anymore. And I'm not just talking about here, I'm talking about in the States as well. Dating apps are fucking insane. They make bread. There's a reason for it. People feel more comfortable behind the keyboard, behind the keyboard on their phone, behind the keyboard on their computers, whatever the case may be, laptops, tablets, doesn't matter. Technology kind of takes precedence now over human interaction. And so here you see it as well. But if you can break into that in any way, people will light up all around you. And again, if you are of age and you are able to drink, it's even easier. So, yeah. I'm going to edit that video as far as the top things you need to do when you if you want to travel to or move to Japan, like what we just talked about earlier in the stream. For those of you that just came in, thank you for being here, for hanging out. Feel free to hop in the chat. I kind of talked about how, things that people could do to either move to or visit Japan, like some stuff. I'm going to edit that video. I'll get it up on YouTube. Hopefully I can do it tomorrow. The soonest would be like super, super late tonight here, which technically will be tomorrow here. Whatever. I don't know. The time difference still, like, I'm adjusted, but considering like I have to talk to people in the States every now and again. So right now it's 2:35 here. Where I used to live, it's 10:35 at night. So imagine that at midnight, if I call them from here, it's 8 o'clock in the morning for them. And then by the time I wake up, first off, I'm a day ahead. And it's late. Yeah, it's 11:35 for you. Yeah, that's right. You guys are in Texas. So, yeah, it's a mess. So I'm like living in, when it comes to like the phone calls and everything else, I'm living in two different worlds on two different completely different time zones. and I'm trying to like maintain that as well, and while like fully adjusting to my everyday here. But when I do the edits and stuff like that, I find that I end up doing it much later at night because during the day I want to be out. I want to be out and just walking around and like just doing different things, and sometimes just being at Sumida Park, even just going right down the street to Sumida Park. It's beautiful. I have a waterway right there. Boats go through, party boats and shit like that. All the buildings that are around. And in about a week's time, like after all this rain that's happened over the last few days, in about a week's time, Sumida Park is going to be one of the most beautiful places in Asakusa. Like everybody's going to be over there. It's going to be swarming with people because all of the sakura trees will have bloomed. I'd say in about a week to a week and a half. They're already starting now. Around my birthday, though, towards the 21st of March and everything else, that's when a lot of the festivals go on. So it's going to be lit the fuck up out here and all throughout Japan because moving season's happening. And by the way, yeah, if you're coming here, and what I said about getting a monthly rental, if you're coming here during springtime, you might want to plan that out in advance because March and April is moving season pretty much throughout Japan. And the reason why is because companies end up transitioning workers from one place to another, or people are coming into like Tokyo, more like urban areas versus the rural areas, more like the areas that have more people and everything else. They're coming to those areas in order to kind of have holiday time and shit like that. So you're going to want to, if you're planning on coming in the springtime, you do want to try and book that in advance. And a lot of those places, like I said, you can find them for very good pricing. They're fully furnished, everything else. So most of them are. They're either fully furnished or half furnished, something like that. But that's about it. How long have we been on stream right now? I can't even see the time on here. I'm like, I could stay on for much longer, but I know I should probably get up, go out, or at least get something done and then go out and take a walk or something like that because I'm missing out on a day. Do you guys have anything? You guys like tell me. I will stay on. You guys have anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to ask? Anything like that? Oh, it's been 2 hours. Wow. So another thing is, I'm going to try. I don't know. Maybe I could do it tomorrow. Maybe. Depends on how late I stay up tonight. It depends on how late I stay up tonight. But tomorrow, I could get up really early and go to the esports cafe and run a stream from there. At least we can do gaming at that point. Because again, as you guys know, gaming on this fucking laptop, until I get into the new place and get build or get a new PC, this laptop is it's it right now. But yeah, if you guys have anything else, feel free to let me know right now. Because otherwise, I think you guys know what time it is. There was some other stuff that I kind of wanted to do reacts to. And in fact, what's crazy, I haven't gotten a chance to watch. There was a Mr. Beast video I wanted to kind of do a reacts to because I haven't gotten to watch a lot of his stuff for a minute now. And I think it was he was in solitary confinement for like 7 days or something like that. I think it's an older video. I know there's been a few more since. But that one, I was like, what's going on, B? What's cracking, my boy? Are you just getting on right now? But that video, I was like, I could do 7 days easy in solitary confinement. I could probably do 10 days to a month. I'm not kidding. As long as I have food, a crapper, and a shower, I could probably go a month in solitary confinement by myself. I, you know what? Let me cut back on the month. I think I could do a month, but at least 2 weeks. I think I could do 2 weeks. Nah, I'd be in for like 10 minutes. You would lose it in 10 minutes. Nah, bro. I think I would be fine for at least. I got a little bitty at the crib right now. Oh, yeah. Wait. There's two ways I can take that. I mean, if you talked about kiddo, I understand. No, I'm just saying like if there was a challenge and you could do it, no, like it didn't affect kids' lives or significant. Like if you could just go in and do it, need some books in there too. No, I don't even think I need books. Honestly, what I would need is something to write with. I'm almost tempted to watch that video right now. What's up, no, Za? But yeah, I think that I would be able to function as long as I had a crapper, a shower, a bed, of course, and something to write with. A good, decent notepad and a pen, a couple of pens, because if one of them dies, then you're going to lose your shit. I think I could survive for like 10 to 14 days in solitude confinement like that. I really do. I don't know. I'm almost, you know what, fuck it. I think we're going to go ahead and have to watch this video right now. Because now I want to see how it went for him. Because I'm like, he did, that's got to be raised. Wait, what? Wait a minute. Why has got to be racist? What are you talking about, B? What did I say? Man, said that's got to be racist. But didn't he did like he was buried alive for like 7 days, right? He did that whole thing. So why not? Why couldn't he take I don't know. I kind of want to watch that video now. It's been 2 hours though on stream. I could stay on. Everybody just coming in. Hey, thanks for coming in. Yo, we've been talking about a lot of stuff right now. But so how long? Okay, B says he could only last for 10 minutes. How long do y'all think y'all could survive in solitary confinement? I swear to you, I'm saying 10 to 14 days. No problem. Maybe I could go a month. Maybe. I kind of, you know what, man? Shit. I'm supposed to go ahead and leave out of the spot right now to go and, just be out here in Japan. I need some water too. Jesus. Sorry. Oh, okay. Anyway, let's see. I be in solitary at the crib now. Oh, you be no, that's different. That's different because you're at the crib, and I wonder because during the I think the buried alive one, like his boys were like they were talking or whatever. I'm like, all right, when I say solitary confinement, what I'm talking about is you gotta no human contact, no phone, no computer, no like none of that, and probably can't talk to nobody the entire time as well. You got to be in there with yourself, and that's it. I honestly think I could do. I think I could do 10 to 14 days easily, maybe a month. All right, fuck it. You know what? We're going to go ahead and watch this video. Let me go ahead and switch it over to to screen share because, bro, I swear, this is why I should have used the projector today. I really should have used the projector today. I need a second screen. What does this say? Bro, I can do that. I've been in a situation similar. See, okay. Do you ever feel like your Japanese personality is much more different than your American one when speaking with Japanese out there? And what's the difference you notice? Okay, so good question. So it's crazy being that I'm hafu. For most of you that don't know this already, I'm a hafu as to what it's called. Born in Madrid, mother is Spaniard and Japanese, father is African American and Spaniard. I grew up culturally with all of that. All right. I lived here years ago when I was younger. Came back when I was a little bit older as well. I hadn't been here for a long time. I've always carried myself to some extent with all of my different cultural significances standing out. I'm serious about that. All of my friends, like, back in the States, the people that have known me for years, it's so funny that, like, one of my good friends, him and his wife, like, he's always like, bro, it's so crazy to me, the things that you know, the things that you understand, and then some of the things that kind of escape you, because I always forget you're technically a foreigner. I'm a foreigner in America too. So, like, he's like, I forget you're a foreigner. And the thing is, they always say that level of respect that I try and have with everyone, it kind of comes from being brought up that way. So being here, it's funny because I think I'm the same as everywhere else that I've been, everywhere else that I've lived, but I do notice, and maybe again, this is because of the level of comfort that I have, the peace that I've been feeling since being back here, and knowing that things aren't as what's the word? It's not as volatile. A conversation can be much more volatile in the States than it is here. I find that I'm still the same, but I'm much more. At the same time, I don't know what the proper word is to use at this point. I would have to say I'm calmer in those scenarios, and more of the Japanese side that I grew up with kind of does come out, even though the American in me still is, it's very much so there. And the funny thing is that a lot of the people that I've met who like speak somewhat decent English and things like that, they kind of have said that very same thing too. They're like, when you speak in Japanese and your pronunciation of the words and things like that are great, and you have a lot of the cultural nuances, that it's there. And even when you speak in English, it's still there. But you can tell by the way that you carry yourself, it's different than a lot of people here. Like, people, I'm always very, like, I stand straight, I walk in a certain way, I'm looking forward. I'm not looking down at the ground or just stuck in my phone or some shit like that. It's like there's a level of confidence that is carried, and maybe it's just personality. And I know that for some people here, it can seem a little bit intimidating, but I can't help that. I am a person who, take away confidence. I know myself. You know what I mean? And I don't worry about a lot of times what people think of me, think about me in any negative sense, or a lot of times even in a positive sense. It's just, I'm me, and I'm going to live and be me. I will abide by, the things that I know I should abide by. I'm always respectful, no matter who you are. I don't even have to know you. I'm going to give you a level of respect that you yourself can lose with me if you lie to me, or you treat me disrespectfully. But for the most part, nah, I don't find that I change too much. But what I will say is that the side of me that at times in the U.S., I think that's okay. Here you go. in the US, especially living where I live, like somehow, all right, bruh, I lived in Chicago growing up as well, as everybody knows it, Chirac. At a point in time where I'm like, it's dangerous now there, I think it was worse back then. I lived in Chicago. I lived in the suburbs. Like what all of Illinois, like I know what hood is. All right. I know it from so many different places on the planet, different states in the US, places overseas, like whatever. I live in Arizona. All right. When I moved down there, I'm telling you right now, I was just like, the niggas out here really trying to be hard like this. Y'all don't know nothing about this life. Like all I see is meth heads and fucking people who are trying to be deceptive, in dealing with people there. But even there, the way that I dressed and the way that I carried myself, people got it fucking twisted. I'm very patient. I can be very calm. I deal in the business world more than anything. But I know the streets. I don't have to show that side of me a lot of times. I don't want to, because if I do, then it's probably going to be a bad situation arising. But what came out of me more than anything was the side of me that I grew up being taught, which was to be respectful. That Asian side, the Japanese side, to be respectful. I mean, hell, it doesn't matter. I think everyone's taught those things, but it's very much so enacted in places like this, in Japan. So there, while living like that, people got it twisted. Thought a motherfucker was soft. And now I got to beat your ass and do something that's outside of what I like to think my character is, because I want to live peacefully. But now you force this other side of me out. Here, I get to be my peaceful self. And it is accepted and appreciated. Ain't nobody tested me on a damn thing here yet. And I was in a city where I know gangsters walk around that city, everything else. Half the fucking clubs and bars and stuff like that in the city I was on is owned by them or run by them. And when people, if I'm walking down the street and somebody bumps into me, it still comes out of me to where I'm like, you better. I need to hear, if you're speaking English, excuse me or sumimasen, something. Because you're not just going to run into me and act all crazy about it. But it's I think because of being here, like I was saying earlier, that calmness that I feel, it allows me to just be my natural self. And a lot of my natural self is, I have to, remind people of this a lot of time. I was very much so brought up with a lot of the Japanese ideals that, were in my family. My pops, after he had passed away and everything else, and it was, me and my mom for a very long time until she passed away. But she instilled a lot of those different things in me, which is why it kind of does seem, the owner of the bar here, she's like, you just immediately seem to fit in with the people. I mean, I was talking to my homegirl from the States earlier this morning, or actually late last night, which was early morning for her. But she was asking me, so if I were to introduce, she was like, if I were to come out there, how would I introduce myself to someone? So the first thing you would do, considering, especially if it's your first meeting, you're going to say, excuse me. Then you're going to say your name. And then you're going to say something that really there is no English equivalent of it, but I'll try and give you an equivalency of it. So first off, to say, hajimemashite, onamae wa kurusu desu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Now, you don't even have to say the onamae wa part, because it's already known that if you interrupt someone and then you just say your name, they know you're talking about yourself and they know it's your fucking name. So, hajimemashite is, excuse me, kurusu desu. My name is Chris, but in hiragana it would come out as kurusu. And instead of trying to force someone to say Chris in Japanese, where R technically doesn't actually exist as, that's why a lot of y'all know the fly lice fucking joke. Everyone knows that joke, but the reason why is because R technically doesn't exist in the Japanese language, like most Asian languages, to be honest about it. And then, of course, I'm saying my name, and then yoroshiku onegaishimasu. That's what doesn't actually translate to anything. Onegaishimasu is a thank you, but yoroshiku in itself would be like me saying please, please, not so much please accept. It's sort of like please accept me or please look at me in a favorable manner. And that's how you would introduce yourself to someone the first time, especially if you're trying to form some kind of a friendship or relationship with that person. And so when I did that, like the first time here at the bar, there was a woman that was there, and then there was a Japanese businessman. It was before it got like really busy. I did that. Every one of them, first off, for me to start speaking, just open my mouth in instant introduction in that manner, they all were like, hold the fuck up. They looked at me like, what? Because a lot of people nowadays, even that formality of especially saying that ending part, it makes people feel more comfortable and like they actually want to get to know you because you're asking them in a sense to look at me in a favorable light, especially coming from someone that they immediately see as a foreigner. To have that in the back pocket was kind of just like, oh shit. And the next thing I know, I'm fucking drunk because I bought myself drinks, but they're buying me drinks, and we're having all these conversations. And that night when I left, it was before I lived up here. I walked out, and I was going back to the hotel, and the woman ran out of the bar, and like all I hear behind me is "sumimasen, sumimasen," and I'm like, I turn, I'm like, did I forget something? You know what? And no, it was her. She like bowed to me 3 times, reached out and even reached to grab my hand and was just like, thank you so much, because the questions that they asked me when I gave them the answers, like she got teary-eyed about it. And it was just that interaction and even the way that I just introduced myself, it just opened up so much. So I guess what I was originally saying was, it's always been built into me to have that level of respect, and that went for no matter where I was. But I find it so much easier to be that person here because it's so greatly appreciated. But yeah, that's great, man. I've been wondering about that lately as I tackle Japanese and dealing with more Japanese people. So are you living in Japan or visiting or like, preparing to make that sort of jump, Za? Oh man, I know you guys are tired of hearing me talk right now. I've been like normally we break this up with like reaction videos and gaming and stuff like that, but this has been like 2.5 hours of straight just talking. Who is that? Oh, whoa! Excuse me. Hang on, you guys. I gotta read this. That's interesting. That is interesting. So, one of the girls I had met when I got here, like I talked to her about what a week. Sayuri, she's like, "Want to go to have drinks tonight?" I would love to, but I can't. I can't. I am trying to budget myself at this point in time until at a week. I got a week and a half. God damn it, almost 2 weeks before I can just like go and do whatever the fuck I want again. But yeah, I think it is about that time. I was going to do the Mr. Beast video, but I don't know. I think it's about that time for me to go ahead and go and let y'all get back to your lives and me get back to my day, I guess, or get the day fully started. Where is there it is? Anybody else? Any questions before I say what I'm about to say? What did you leave? Did you leave? B? You missed that part of the conversation. But all right, you guys, listen. I could stay on here for a lot longer, but I think, man, it's only 11 o'clock there. Damn, I really should stay on for a while longer, but I really do need to go ahead and I need to eat. No, I live in NYC. Okay, well, you know what? Listen, as long as the conversation's still going, I'm not going nowhere. I live in NYC and been just going to many meetups. My friend group, my friend group has been expanding along with my Japanese level. I do plan to go next Halloween though. Good time to go too. Like people here love Halloween. They love all holidays in general. Hang on one second. Let me kill the music's in my ear. You guys probably couldn't hear it, but it's in my ear. But yeah, people love pretty much all holidays here for numerous reasons. It's another way for them to be able to go ahead and do and enact things that they normally wouldn't do or enact. You just the question that the guy Za asked about, what was it? Do I ever feel like my Japanese personality is much different than my American personality when speaking with Japanese people out here? I kind of just went over that. But yeah, it's good to do that, especially like open up that sort of a friend group and everything, because what I noticed too was there was someone I was talking to here. In order for her to get better at her English and understand like more American culture and stuff like that, because I think she said that she had gone to the States for almost a month. It was like 2-3 weeks or something like that. And then here she wanted to be better in her English so that she could deal with business people and just like tourists and stuff that she met. She said that she went on to some group chat or something like that, and they do little meetups here. And that's the thing. The amount of little societies they put together, clubs, group meetups and stuff like that, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Like they have little meetups for people who they'll go out to like cafes and stuff like that, who study English or want to learn more English and stuff like that. They'll meet up for that. They have meetups for like damn near anything and everything, because people like that feeling, that extra interaction, especially when so many people are so shut off so much. I mean, a lot of people, especially if they live like a couple of hours away from each other and don't really get to come into, the other person's city or whatever, they'll do online, what you call it? It's like online meetings. Everybody get together, eat and drink during the meeting, conversate, talk about their day, the week, how long it's been since they've seen each other last, things of that nature. And it's also why you see so many groups, like when they get done with work, they go out together to have drinks or whatever, to have that kind of group interaction sort of thing. For you to do that, yeah, it's a big thing, because it'll kind of, when you come back, it'll kind of give you that leg up into whether it's the culture, some of the standards, and even the language, when you get here. Let's see, you just missed. I was wondering if my personality would change as I become better at speaking and talking with more Japanese people and creating a whole different personality. That's the thing. For some people, it does happen. For some people, it does happen. Again, it's something I've known my whole entire life, and I've even when I just taught you guys how be to do like that formal introduction, that right there, you will need that in a business sense. You're doing business and you first meet individuals or your boss and things like that, you will need that in your back pocket. And even like if someone were to say it to you, your reply to them would be to give your name, and instead of just saying yoroshiku onegaishimasu, you'd say dozo yoroshiku, saying that you acknowledge them and for them to acknowledge you as well in the same sense. But some people do form a different personality and a different identity, whether it's because of living here as part of, that integration or whatever. It happens. It does happen. But, I like to say people, the whole culture of Japan, in a great deal to what it is now, is formed on something called duality. And duality means taking, dual ideas and kind of bringing them together to make it your own. This country is kind of the precedent of the culture of the country is kind of based on that. They've taken the best of, like what the Western world kind of brought in and made it their own. Taking like the food, stuff like that, culturally made it their own. Which is why, like, Mexican, I have not found listen, let me not be an asshole. The first spot I went to, the Mexican restaurant, it was good. But it wasn't Mexican food. Like, if I go in the kitchen and make some Mexican food, it's going to blow that the fuck out the water. Like, straight up. I mean, there's certain Japanese food that I've eaten here. If I made it, because I was brought up, like, making that, cooking that food, eating that, no, I would blow them out of the water too. But, yeah, they take these different things and they're adjusted. And what's funny, the guy who owns it, I'm like, bro, you're a Spaniard. You're not fully making Mexican food anyway. So I kind of got the idea, behind it. But he had to adjust the way that food is made in order to fit the Japanese culture, to fit the Japanese palate, especially based on where he's located. Even though he could get a lot of tourists and foreigners and stuff like that who will go in for Mexican food, and then there's a ton of Japanese people who will go in there for actual Mexican food, it plays out better for him in that location to do it on the level to where it brings that duality. He had to change the cultural identity or personality of the food in order to fit for more customers, more Japanese consumers, especially when COVID was going on. He sustained his business that way because there were no foreigners really to come and eat there, So that's how that's how people will change their personality and identity in order to sustain their relationships and their residents and how things work for them here. I don't think you have to do it, but on some level it will change. Like I said, I don't change. My personality doesn't change. That part of me has always been there. That respect, that Japanese identity has always been there. So yeah, you don't have to change that though. But anyway, all right. Instead of rambling, since we don't have any real reacts today, and I think that the next time I come on, we are watching that Mr. Beast video because I want to know how that went for him. I will not watch it. I won't watch it just so that I can actually watch it with you all because I want to know how he does 7 days and if I want to adjust my take on it because I'm saying 14 days out the gate, off the rip. I think I could do 10 to 14 days, no problem. Quite possibly a month. But anyway, I think it's about that time, y'all. Yeah. Okay. To everybody that's been on YouTube or on Twitch, thank you so much for hanging out, for chilling, for chatting. Y'all know I hate doing this, but it's about that time. It's been good. It's been fun. It's been great. I'm Michelle Bullet 8. I got to get out there and go and live life. So on that note, I'm out. I will hopefully see you all tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to try and go over to the esports cafe. I'm going to have to spend some bread on doing it. It's making me cringe thinking about spending bread on it, but we can game if I do it that way. Otherwise, I'll try and get on, and at least we can do some React streams. But thanks a lot for being here. If you're watching this later on, go ahead, like the video, subscribe, and feel free to leave your comments. And if you're on Twitch, follow, subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.